morning.
How are you?
Well, I made it back from the mechanic.
All right, ladies, who's next? What you got, Kimberly? She teased us with something.
Hi, good morning.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm doing Coffee Fridays today with EXP.
Woohoo!
Nice.
So hopefully I get to meet some people in the area.
So where is coffee? Well, and it's down in Miami. That's a cool idea. I thought about doing that up here in my neck of the woods because I don't think anyone's doing it. We have some pretty good size EXP players up here in my little town of Mount Dora, actually. It's weird.
Huh.
Yeah, cool. That's very cool. What time does your
It's a
coffee?
page on Workplace. It's called In Real Life Events. You should
Okay,
follow it. They should have it in your area.
that is awesome. I am going to check that out in real life events. All right.
Real
Okay.
life events. Okay.
It's in
What you
real
got?
life events, yes.
Okay.
Cool beans. What you got, Bree?
So I have a client that lives on Get Section 8 vouchers.
Mhm.
And there's an initiative with the federal government where they will give money to the local metro, DHA, the Development Housing Agency in your area. And they, so anyway, she's got $30,000 in escrow. So
Mhm.
they take the difference between market rate and what she pays and they put it in escrow.
Okay. Nice.
So she took a new job that was a little bit of a pay cut, but better quality of life. And it decreased her pre-approval amount. I just found out that 30,000 can bolster up what her pay, how it
Differences?
affected her. And then she'll still have 20,000 left over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
And she can use that for moving expenses as well as closing costs and down payment. Well, I found her a 100% loan. And the bank's going to give her a grant for closing costs for most of it.
Oh, she's got her move completely paid. Can she
Yes,
do
it's
her can she do her deposits for like electricity and stuff too?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
appliances if she
I'm
needs
gonna
it.
have her use all her money first for like moving expenses and deposits and things like that, and the rest of it then go towards closing costs and have the bank take up the rest.
Nice.
Very good.
Very, very nice. Congratulations. That's some good work, darling.
Yeah,
And
I
I've been
love what
working
you
with her
do.
for a year.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope she closes very quickly. 'Cause
We
that's
got
a
to find the house now, but
Oh, okay. Well, still good work. Very good work. All right. Look at Craig. Nice hair. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. What's some good news? We're doing quick good news so we can turn it over to Kathy.
Well, I've been talking to this young lady that wants to sell her house. Well, originally it began that she needed work done on her house. I recommended someone to work for the work a few months ago. She found out that she's got some issues with the underneath the house. She thought it was just the flooring, but it's actually it's much deeper than that. Yeah, the joist.
Yeah.
So gonna be about $20,000 to fix, between 15 and 20. So I told her I had an investor who would possibly buy the house as is, just need to look at it. So she was open to that. So then yesterday she texted me and said, hey, a house around the corner sold for 154. So I think I'm just gonna fix it and sell it. So I told her, I was like, listen, well, she wanted to sell on her own. So I told her, I was like, listen, let's still have a conversation. Most of the time realtors can get you more money can net you more money than you can and sell it in a faster time period.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay. She still wants to sit down with me and come by, look at the house. And see where we can go.
I love that. Do you know, I love that, because you came back immediately to handle the objection. Do you know the reasons why we can sell quicker and for more money?
No.
Okay, we're gonna,
Well,
I'll
we
tell you
have
that.
access to the MLS for one.
Well, yeah, I'll walk you through that. Let's go with Kay real quick. Kay, what you got?
Well, I have a meeting this morning with a manager at Lowe's who wants to do a rent to own or buy a house. So I'm going to try and get her pre-qualified.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Very nice. Liz, I can see that you are not muted, so I'm assuming that your talkability level is like on today.
Yes, it is. Quietly, it is.
Okay.
Uh,
Liz, what do you got?
I'm in shared space here. Nothing really new. Yesterday, I reached out regarding the referral attorneys, agents for the property my sister wants to sell in Florida, and lined up some calls. And I have a meeting tonight with a friend of mine regarding, potential real estate stuff she might be interested in doing. She's not sure what she wants to do, so we'll talk it out.
Yay. Cool beans. All right. My good news, I'm still getting some text trickling in from when I shut down all my texting, and I made it a point this week to respond to all of them that were hanging out there that I haven't. So shame on me for not. So I responded to all of them, and I'm just staying on top of them. And it was a bunch of texts that went out. But out of that, I had 2 appointments set up. A third person called. That reminds me, I had the third person to call. One appointment flaked out on me, can't get them. The second appointment we've got set, and the third one came out of the blue last night, and I just happened to, my phone rang, and I was expecting a call from my tech support from my website, and it was a random phone number. I picked it up, and she's actually like, "You've been texting me, who are you?" I'm like, "Okay, let's talk." So she's actually meeting with Gary today, which is cool. And then my other good piece of news, I heard this, was on TikTok, and I heard this, and it was a question that this girl says, "I can get you any job that you ever go on an interview, but as long as you ask this question last, right before everything's done, when they're like, okay, we're done." She always says this, and I thought this is perfect for real estate. She says, "Before I leave, do you have any last concerns about me?" And she said, "They always will." And then it gives you a chance to handle it, and you almost always get the job right there. But in real estate, for agent attraction, before we leave, do you have any concerns about this? That's a perfect question for agent attraction. It's perfect to get out the last bit of objections, whatever they are, and just deal with them. So that's definitely going in my repertoire. Okay, Kathy, before I turn you loose, no more money and quicker. Craig, there's only 2 types of sellers. There's sellers that put it on the MLS, or sellers that try and sell it themselves. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Actually, Craig, there's only 2 types of sellers. Do you know what they are, out of curiosity?
Sellers that put them on the MLS and sellers that don't.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So now let me ask you this. The people who put it on the MLS, 99% of the homes are found online, and they're found online because the MLS puts it out to everybody. So that's where people find it. Now, I need you to think like a buyer for a second. If you were a buyer, would you be looking where 99% of the homes were, or where the 1% are? Where would you be going?
The 1%. Oh, if y'all were buyer.
You're a
sorry,
buyer. Yep.
The 99%,
Exactly. And why is that?
because that's where all of the homes are.
Bingo. So what would make you look where the 1% are? The people who aren't using a real estate agent. What would make you want to look there first?
I couldn't think. Oh, cheaper. A deal.
Bam. That's it. Because those are homes that investors go after. When investors make offers, do they offer 100%?
No.
What do they typically offer on the dollar?
About 60.
Awesome. Do investors usually strike when the house first goes on the market, or do they wait? And
They wait.
How long do they typically wait?
I'm
90
not
days.
sure that.
90 days.
Okay.
What I was thinking.
91 days. Yeah. It's after the peak of the market, when the house is stale and old. So it depends upon you. Do you want to go with an agent where you're going to get closer to 100% and you're going to sell much, much quicker? Or do you want to go where it's only investors who are offering 70 cents on the dollar and they're typically waiting 90 days? That's why you list with a real estate agent. plus just pull up the NAR stats. NAR has stats also of how much a house sells for more across the nation, percentage wise, or they might have dollar too when it's listed with an agent. And just say it's an NAR stat. Bam.
Where's that website that Gary mentioned or you mentioned where you could see who's moving into your state?
Oh,
IRS
how many-
tracker,
how many moves, how many walks?
where
hang on.
money moves or something.
How many moves? Let me see. It's an IRS site. So let's see if that's,
Because then you could say, you know, bolster the online thing that this many people are coming from out of state.
perfect.
Mhm.
How many walks? How many walks? That's what it
Mm.
is.
And you can pull it up by county and
Wow,
area,
this looks
you know, really.
completely
Okay.
different than it looked like just a little while ago. So I'm not sure if this is that it? Explore your data, interactive map. Yep, that is it. It's how many walks, IRS tax migration is what it is.
That's
So,
what I've been looking at in your state, Craig.
I will.
oh, absolutely. All
Oh, you
right.
said you've been looking at it, Kathy. Okay,
Before I came down there, I looked at which counties had money coming in and where it was coming from.
gotcha.
I love it. I love that site anyway. It's been really good when I talk to people like in Miami. Kimberly, when I talk to Miami agents and they're like, you understand Miami's building because there's cranes everywhere. And it is. But I'm like, actually, your money is doing a mass exodus and it's coming up to Central Florida. It's coming up to Orange County, Lake County. And it's on the map. You can actually see it. So you've got something to quantify it and take it back to them and show them what's going on. Okay. So back over to our self-motivation tracker. So Kay, you said 25 calls a day, you're at 66. So you're head, as far as sheer numbers, you're on top. Craig, you said 25 a day, you're at 33. I said 2 convos a day, I'm only at 12. By the way, this is our 3rd completed week. Kathy, 3 convos a week, you're at 8. Kim, 1 video a day, 5. Wow, actually. So you're there, and then we got zeros down below on the rest, and then we've got contracts added in down here. We don't have anybody in contracts yet. So Kathy, I'm turning it over to you. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I didn't listen to the way we're supposed to do this, so
There's no
yesterday.
supposed to. You're the
no,
one.
I mean,
There's
anyway,
not supposed to. It's just-
anyway.
yeah.
So I told you yesterday that my version of those combos are very, very wide in terms of the thing. So what I did last night trying to get ready for this is write down a bunch of stuff that I do. And it's anywhere from connecting with business services and people like I did this morning, and suppliers, reaching out to try to form a connection to see how we can benefit one another, or if I can serve in some way. Part of that I'm going to include, even though it's really stretching, but the investing part for me personally, because it's important, it's related, I certainly can grow from it and help others at the same time. So there's time that I'm spending on that. Reaching out to people with real estate, at least part of the conversation when I'm with people, if I can try to do that. Then there's the standard stuff like KV Core texting, email, and calling, social media posts, and messaging with neighbors regarding seller preparations and stuff like that, or whatever, tips and help and things. So that's kind of what I put down for what I'm doing with those conversations, what I'm counting in there. I know that's not where I need to be, because that's not necessarily a very fast track to a contract, but it's the beginning parts of that. And I also know that these are kind of shifting into the learns, I guess, is that I'm scattered. I'm all over the place. I need to be more focused. I'm not my priorities aren't focused enough, basically. I don't know where the rest of the notes on that went because they're gone. I thought that I was being good and sticking it on the phone so that I could do this. But that's a good part of it. And I also throw in here always, not every week or whatever, but reevaluating things. So when I spent time this week on that investor call, or the workshop with Gary and those folks that I didn't really expect to learn a lot from, and I kind of didn't, but like I said, sometimes just hearing that thing over again in a different voice and a different whatever makes a difference too. And the bottom line with all of that I found myself thinking about the most, I mean, thought about a lot of it, but the most was actually Jennifer Beadle's last thing, where she talked about just working with investors. And knowing that I got into this on the investment side of things, even though I love real estate and helping people, I got into it because of that. I mean, in the fact that everybody touts this stuff to me, that, you only need this many hours to do stuff. And I have so much baggage to go into those, whatever, that, 10 hours a week, that's doable. That's something I would love to have it be, just 10 hours a week. And that's what she says. You can do this in 10 hours a week. And so I really found that to be compelling, I guess. Do I still need to have things in place that are real basic? I do, and I know I do. And I also know you just got to do it. So I struggle with all those imbalances. I struggle with my insecurities. And the fact that I got so much to do. There's so much on my plate, always. Does that help?
I really like it. So out of everything that Kathy said, what are your guys' ahas? Thank you for that, Kathy, too. Thank you. Thank you for taking time and pouring into it and reflecting and really looking back over the last week and kind of examining your own world also. So that's some good work. So what kinds of ahas did you guys get out of that?
Well, my aha is she was preaching to the choir. Because I mean, like,
yep.
same thing, yeah. If I don't want to say it feels good that you're there, but it feels good knowing that I'm not the only one.
Well, you and I have an awful lot. That's the same, I think. We really need to stick our heads together and knock each other's crap out of the way.
I know, really.
And that sentiment, Craig, the other reason that it's great, like it's horrible that anybody's going through that, but I think so highly of you guys. So the fact that maybe I'm not doing it all wrong, because I admire you guys. I'm like, okay, so we feel similar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're in great company.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would completely agree. You're like, I'm lost, I'm all over the map, I'm scattered, I'm not focused. Oh my gosh. Gosh. I just had to have, go ahead, Kay.
Well, I was going to say the 3 takeaways I had is balance, insecurity, because I still battle with that, and just do it.
I love that. I love that. I went to the rally on Monday and somebody said, no excuses, which is another version of just do it. He's like, no excuses. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Go do the dang thing you're supposed to be doing. There's no excuses. And I realized when he said that I had been making excuses. And it's like, no excuses. You have a bunch of people that you have to respond back to. You haven't done that. That's crap. That's not putting you where you want to go. No excuses. Get it done. And so I did, because I stopped giving myself excuses. And I had a conversation yesterday with Ava, because I'm like, I have been not only all over the map, but I'm also devoting a ton of time to writing, which means I don't have time to work with her. So she's just getting what I call seagull management, which is where you go and shittle over everything and then fly away. And that is the worst kind of management you can possibly give to a human being. And so I just spent some time with her of like, where are you and what's going on? Because I'm all over the map. And so we're gonna sit down next week and kind of clarify, just so I can wrap my brain around also where she is. And so she can kind of get some time with me to kind of go through these 18 million things I've been tossing at her. You know, go fix this, whatever. So thank you.
Yeah.
I think that hello everyone. Sorry.
Hey,
I think that as a new agent, I struggle with the same a lot. So what has helped me was I listen to a lot of podcasts, motivations. I listen to a lot of audibles. I don't have time to just pick up a book like I would like, but I listen to a lot of audibles. And I try to stay connected as much as I can, because this is a big journey. And one thing I love about real estate is that it grows you from the inside out. And that's the best thing. So you just have to really stay focused. It's hard. It really is. But you have to feed your mind and you have to feed yourself with daily inspirations. I think it's like I heard something the other day where a guy was saying that if you don't have a schedule or some type of balance, then you have one. It's a dysfunction. It's something that you're doing that you're not really aware that you're doing, but you actually have one.
Mhm.
So you have to actually schedule and plan yourself, or you're just going to be dysfunctional.
Or if you don't schedule it, it'll schedule you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
or somebody
maybe
else will
get your
schedule you.
It's true. It's really true. And schedules have to have stop times too. They can't just have start times, they have to have stop times, so that I have to, like, my husband needs time. And if I don't put an end time on my schedule, like, he's not here. He took off, he's out of town this week. So he took off yesterday morning. Well, my phone was buzzing until like 9:15 at night, and I wasn't responding to it because there's no Greg to go, can you turn your dang phone off, you know, to give me that stop time, which he is worthy of and deserves, you know, especially because I usually go to bed around 9:30. That poor guy does not need me, you know, working until 9:15. But so it's scheduled me.
I was just, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to add, as Kathy was going through her list, in my mind, I was like, preach, like I am totally in the same spot. Like you are not alone for sure. But a couple of things that help me, because sometimes I get so overwhelmed with a list and the things to do that I just stop moving because I'm like, I don't even know where to start anymore. So I do a couple of things. One is what Kimberly already mentioned. I just listen to podcasts to kind of get my head out of the spinning space of all the things. To get the energy of all the things overwhelming my system, I literally stop and I just write it all out. I data dump it all out on paper. Everything that comes out of my head, every thought, every activity, I just data dump it all out on paper, because then the energy isn't sitting in my body trying to spin its way out in some form, and it keeps me it kind of clears my energy space. I might look at it right then, I might not look at it right then, but at least I know I have it out of my system. When I get back around to looking at it, I'm like, okay, what really matters? This is where my legal head comes in, because we have to look at things very precisely, and in lieu of all the drama that people throw up on paper about their situation, we just need to know what we need to know. So I literally put that hat on and say, okay, what are the 6 bullet points of things that I need to know? So I look at the list and I say, what are the 6 things that I need to do? Like I need to do. My people are waiting for me. And I literally think of, like, you know, the people I service at the firm, the clients we service at the firm are waiting for me to figure out their answer. So what can I do? What do I need to know from this situation right here, right now, to help me figure out my answer? Whether it's a process I don't know in KV Core or something. Okay, what's the fastest way to figure out the information I need to get into KV Core? I kind of data dump those out in pieces, depending on where my energy and head level is for like detailing down that far. And when I can get it down to like 6 points or less, I'm good. I'm like, and even if it's longer than that, I'm just kind of like, at least I have broken down the overwhelm to a smaller list that I can now just start piecing out. And there might be a multiple lists that come out of that data dump in my head, and that's okay. I just, which one am I going to tackle first? because what helps me get over my fear, in addition to listening to the podcast, is knowing that I'm stopping myself from doing activities that are material to my business, but material to the clients I'm trying to serve. If I was serving a client, would I be sitting around wondering, oh, gee, how am I gonna do this? I wouldn't be spinning. I'd be figuring out the answer, because that client is relying on me for the information to make decisions in their space. And that's what kind of helps push me through sometimes. They're waiting for an answer. Whether I know that whether I'm servicing them right now or not, like, I have clients I want to service. I'm doing lead gen for. I don't know who they are yet, but they're gonna need some support when I find them. And I just keep thinking of them the whole time.
I love that. You reminded me of something else. I was talking with Craig, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day. I was talking with Craig briefly. And I have my list of things I have to do. I tend to not prioritize that. I do when I go through it, I don't write it in order. I just data dump it also. But my goals, which are in front of my face, those are in order. Those are absolutely in order, and they're in order off the ones that if I hit that one, these other things down here will all domino into place. So they're done like that. And I found myself focusing on the bottom. I have a whole sheet. There's probably 12 or 14 things on this piece of paper that I want to accomplish over the next couple of years. And many of them now, and then, some of them be a year or two out. And I realized I was focusing on the bottom of that sheet of paper, and I've been focusing there for a while. And I was like, crap. And the stuff at the top wasn't getting done, and it was making me crazy. And that was the thing. Someone said, if what you're focusing on is not helping your mental space, you need to be focusing on that. And that's when I realized that I was focusing on the wrong thing. So Kimberly, Gary's a Franklin Planner guy also. He loves his Franklin Planner. I'm a Trello board person for my stuff, but Gary is definitely a Franklin Planner.
Yes, that's actually where I got that idea from, and I love it. I just love the way you can make the little dots, and you can push it over to the next day. It's a really good organization. I tried the high performance planner. I didn't like that one, not at all. So
yeah,
I tried to get that in place this year and searched a lot of them, and it's hard to do it online because you can't really see how it lays out.
You still paper girl?
Well, what happens is I'm not in front of this freaking computer all the time.
Right.
And so I'm both, and that is also good and bad.
It's definitely got problems to run through both. It's yeah. And there's no right or wrong. It's what works for you. I just find that there's paper people and computer people, and then whichever direction it is, great, let's go make that your baby. My old boss, when I was a team leader in Virginia, was a paper planner guy, but he was also he also was forgetful. Let me put it that way. And he would leave his planner at my house or wherever. And I remember one morning he called me up, and it was 4:00 in the morning or something. And he wanted this stupid planner. And I lived on the 3rd floor of this apartment when I moved out there before Greg got out there. And I'm like, I'm not coming all the way downstairs. Can I park out? No, walk all the way into my building below. I will drop the dang thing down at you. It's just it's 4:00 in the morning. This is all the better you get, dude. It's not my problem. Oh my gosh. Kathy, are there any last thoughts before I circle us around and set us up for the week?
Yeah, I use the Franklin sticky note, little tear off paper planners. So it's all over the place. So I have to I have a notebook that I write in, it gets filled up. So I'm actually looking at getting a planner as well.
I use the full focus planner, and it comes in 3 months. Each one has 3 months worth of stuff, but I like it because at the beginning of each month, it makes you reevaluate your goals. It blends well with Gary's strategic visioning.
Okay.
And put that in for each month, and then each week you evaluate your big rocks. And so I use it for my to-dos. And then I time block in Google Calendar, or I'm supposed
to. Okay.
So I time block in Calendar, which is basically Google Calendar, which now Google Calendar can do everything Calendar can do, but by God, I'm not switching over. Anyway, because that's where my life is. My goals are right there in front of me. I can see them. They're literally on a piece of paper right over here that just has everything written out and what who I am and what I'm about. That's right there, and then the direction I'm going with that. And then every Friday I have to evaluate, because before this I have an accountability call where we literally go through how it's a good accountability call. How was your last week? What did you accomplish? What did you do? Where are you moving forward? So it forces me every single Friday to look back and analyze, how was your week and how did you do? Did you hit those big rocks you said you were going to hit or not? And, sometimes it's no, sometimes it's definitely a no. So, but all right. All right.
You have time for me to cap real quick?
Sure.
Too.
Yeah.
What I got from you guys sharing right now is, well, it confirms, like I said, that I'm scattered all over. With Liz's 6 things, the part that just ties to the one thing in my head, and the importance of that. But the part that for me ties in even more is the part that she says, do it like you just would for a client, that they're counting on you for this result, because I'll do anything to get the clients and other people what they need. But what I need goes on the back burner all the time. And so trying to make that shift to, this is what you need to do for whoever. Maybe I have to make a fictionary friend or something. I don't know. That shift would make a difference, I think. So that's good. And I think I lost the other part of all of this, but so I'm gonna let it go because I'm sleepy and it's nuts. So, but there was a couple other things in there. Oh,
go ahead. Go.
I just wanted to say, when I get to that circle point where I'm overwhelmed with everything, I can't jump on the podcast because I'll have them on and they'll just go right through. My head's everywhere else. It won't take care of it. I have to decompress. I have to either get out in the garden and do something physical like that, or go walking, or even if it's so bad to the point that I veg in front of movies, that I can just let my mind loose like a dump that way.
Everybody, it's their thing. Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that pretty much.
I love all that. I like that you're going to do a fictionary friend, because many of us will work harder for somebody else than ourselves. I like that what clears out your brain. Like for me, what clears out my brain is just to stop what I'm doing, go get a cup of coffee, like literally a cup of coffee, which you would think would not calm me down, but it does calm me down, and just have a cup of coffee. And it only takes me maybe this much of the cup before I'm like, okay, I have clarity again. But what it really is just a break. It's just a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
To kind of get my brain wrapped around the right direction again. And when I'm in a bad space where the negative and the god awful is going on, for me, I turn on some really good music that makes me feel really good. And every once in a while, I'm like, oh yeah, you like the really good music, turn on the good music, because I can have the music just sort of playing back there, and to get me back up again. And then it's no excuses, Jana. Like, this is it. You don't get a do-over. This is not your Etch-a-Sketch life. This is, you get your butt down there and do it. You know what I mean? Right. But I need that little break. I just need that little 10-minute break sometimes to get my clarity.
Quick question. You were talking about the imaginary friend, and I love that. Yeah. Because literally I am that person. Like,
you're my imaginary friend?
No, I'm your imaginary friend. But was it Craig or who was talking about the avatar?
Yeah,
Craig?
I was talking about Avatar.
So the imaginary friend where you're your avatar. And then you do things for that avatar, that imaginary friend. I'm just kind of thinking through, like, that's like a light bulb for me.
Right.
That's a good idea.
And I don't know if I can get there, that mind shift, because there's always that really logical stuff like, whatever, but.
And
go ahead.
That's interesting because I attracted my avatar and I didn't even realize it.
Look at you go.
Yeah. So,
just thought of that. Yay.
Yeah. So the guy with the lake home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's my avatar. Actually, I wasn't thinking it would be residential though, it would have been commercial,
Right.
commercial investor, but he
Did
fits
you-
all of the other boxes.
Did
Yeah,
you
he
have
is-
that box checked on your avatar that it was commercial also?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, go on.
And I just thought so, and he has 2 commercial lots. So actually, you know, he checks all the boxes.
Gary said, by the way, for you specifically to set up a phone call with him.
Okay,
Yep, he's like, I need to talk to Craig. Craig has a whole bunch of things going on. I want to get more money in his pocket. Tell him to give me a call.
all right.
Get
Yeah.
set up on his thing. Okay.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, thank you.
If sometime along the way you guys want to shoot me feedback, because I looked at Anna's thing online, what for her description of herself, and it's amazing, right? I know that I have those issues. If you guys can help me build something that is me and describes me, or what are my portfolio, or feedback, something, I would appreciate it.
Can you get us what you have?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably not much.
That's
But
okay. Give us something to start with.
It's
Yeah.
probably in Gary's stuff.
Cool,
Or
find it.
something. Anyway,
Yeah, find out what it is that you have and get that to us. And yeah, I'd love to tear into it.
all
Like,
right.
let's have fun with it. That's
Rip
fun.
me up.
All right. I'm gonna leave you guys with one last thing, which is just very slightly has to do with this. We had a girl that I knew that was actually my ex's niece, and she had an imaginary friend her whole time growing up. And his name, I don't know what his name was, who cares? Sniggerbottoms or something, who knows? Anyway, so decades later, when she was in her maybe early 40s, she was talking with somebody that was a friend of her family, and he said, by the way, he's like, Jennifer, he goes, do you remember Mr. Sniggerbottoms? And she was like, what? And he's like, she goes, how do you know about him? Whatever the crazy name was. And he's like, they had an old house with the cold air vents. And when he would visit the parents and she would go to bed as a little kid, he would be talking to her through the cold air vents. Her imaginary friend was real the entire time, and nobody ever told her. And
Oh, wow. That's so awesome.
isn't it cool? I'm
And the
like,
fact that he wasn't traumatized,
exactly.
Yeah, that part.
Exactly.
that wasn't in my head, that was really real. I'm freaked out.
Exactly. So there you go. So make your imaginary friends, because if that's what helps us get through, then that is a very real thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but so there's got to be something to make me shift from helping everybody else, which isn't a bad thing, but putting me up there on an equal status.
You have to help other people too. You cannot lift and help other people up when you're in a hole.
Yeah,
You can reach, by the way, the hardest thing on planet Earth to do is pull another person up. If they don't want to do it, it's impossible. They'll pull you down. If they
Right.
want to do it, it's flipping hard, but you cannot do it when you're inside the hole with them. You can't do it.
Right.
So I saw a visual of my cup runneth over and why that's important. So at first they had a cup and they put some dirt in it. So at first the person took a spoon and was trying to spoon out the dirt, right?
Mhm.
And it was taking forever and you were taking the good water out with it, and your cup ended up half empty trying to get the dirt out. So then they took things that you should focus on, not focus on getting the dirt out, but focus on the abundance of things that you want. And that's in a complete different cup, right? So you pour that into the dirty water and the dirt lifts to the front, to the top. My cup runneth over. So it's not depleting yourself, but the dirty part came out when you focus on the positive.
yeah.
That is,
Nice.
So I just saw it this week.
it's a great visual. It is a really good visual. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.